Function with Purpose podcast. All things health, wellness, fitness, and education through the physical therapy perspective. I am Dr. Amy Bullock, owner and founder of Fortress Physical Therapy. Fortress PT is here to serve the Charlotte metro area by highlighting the importance of how and why physical therapy should be a part of your health and wellness lifestyle. Here we go. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 5 of the Function with Purpose podcast. Dr. Amy here with you today. We are getting into summertime. Oh my gosh. Or summer's here by the time this episode comes out. I am in the closet recording with probably about 7 blankets put up all around me so that my voice doesn't echo. So you can totally just picture me setting up, talking to you right now with towels and blankets around me. Anywho. Okay. Episode 5 of Season 5. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about, the overall experience when I tested positive for COVID back in May. It happened. It's inevitable. I think we all knew it was going to be inevitable. Again, COVID is a form of the flu, and, I'm a science person. I'm not here to debate about COVID, but I did get vaccinated, so I did have my 2-step vaccination, and I also got 1 booster shot. And then after that, I can't remember when I had my booster shot. It was October 2021. And then I ended up getting COVID in May 2022. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So 7 months after I got my COVID booster. And overall, just to get this out there, the overall aspect of vaccinations is to prevent serious complications to viruses, right? Hence, back in the polio pandemic, epidemic, vaccinations were developed, and, you don't see polio today, really. So, science is a thing, and I'm a believer of that. So, okay. Insight to my COVID experience. So, I woke up on a Friday morning, and Friday mornings I usually coach CrossFit class at 5:30 in the morning. And I remember that night turning over in bed several times. I just could not sleep. I slept like shit. And I woke up and immediately felt the glands under my jawline swollen. And, so I'm thinking, okay, I have some type of infection that's going on. Nothing too crazy. It's not unexpected for me to have kind of crappy sleeps here and there. So went into CrossFit class and coached, and I did keep my distance. Luckily there were only 10 of us there at the gym. So and I felt off. I didn't have my typical energy, and I was just, kind of thinking, I'm just tired, I'm fighting some type of infection. COVID didn't even cross my mind. Okay, so coach class, and then I was getting into my training routine, and I literally completely changed the whole routine. I never do that. I never change what is on my plate for training that day. Well, yeah. I changed it up. So I did a lot of biking and just overall just basic movement. Then I kind of tidied up and was getting ready for work, and patients were about to roll in an hour, and I just felt, I was just like, this just doesn't feel right. So I immediately contacted my patients and I said, hey, we'll just reschedule. I'm going home. As soon as I got home, I took a 2-hour nap. So that's already an indication, okay, something's going on. After I woke up from that nap, I automatically figured, okay, I'm going to take a COVID test. And, tested positive. So had to quarantine for 5 days, all that spiel. But I want to give you some insight here. Now, I am not sponsored by Whoop, but it was kind of cool to see my metrics tracked. And by metrics, I mean respiratory rate, resting heart rate, and heart rate variability, and my overall recovery status. Was I in the red, the yellow, or the green? So when I woke up Friday morning when I coached, I woke up in the yellow at 42% recovered. Now, the day before, Thursdays are typically my rest day. I don't really do much. I do a lot of business administration, work on the computer. So I was in the green on Thursday, 71%. So I went from 71% green recovered to 42 yellow the next day, almost in the red. So that was a clear indication my body is fighting something off. So that was a very vast linear decline in my overall recovery. So then you look into the metrics of the recovery that gave me that yellow response, or that 42%. My typical resting or respiratory rate is in the lower 14s. So when I looked at the data, I went back and looked at it. I went from an average of 14.1 or 14.1 breaths per minute on Thursday night to waking up Friday morning to 15.1. So one full breath, it was a major spike, but like nothing out of the ordinary. So I was like, oh, okay, nothing too abnormal out of that. But two things. My resting heart rate, beats per minute, went from the night before to 47, and I usually average between like 43 and 47, to 53 waking up Friday morning. So that was like a super duper steep incline. So a huge major increase in my resting heart rate, right? So you should see that when you become sick, your resting heart rate should increase, because it's trying to fight off infection. Something's going on, right? Which then in turn, resting heart rate and my respiratory resting rate shoots out the heart rate variability number. So on Thursday, I was at a 79, and I immediately spiked down to 66. So again, another major drop, especially after a rest day. So I take my active recovery or complete full rest days on Thursday. So all of these numbers were indications of, okay, my body's fighting something off. So it was just kind of cool to see this data like plotted on a chart and visually seeing this, not only feeling it, but seeing it. So getting into my symptoms, just to give you some thoughts here and go with your gut on this. When you are in doubt and you feel like poo-poo, just take a COVID test and be mindful, right? Because it's totally not about you. It's about other people who are vulnerable. And right now, I'm around my mom a lot, so she's that vulnerable population. So some symptoms, I already mentioned my neck glands, like under my jawline, were swollen. Just like a typical, if you have obviously an upper respiratory infection, and you have mucus buildup, it was kind of that like sensation, right? I had a headache, my neck was hurting. It felt like kind of like a menstrual cycle headache, for those ladies out there who can relate. I also slept like poo. I already said that the night before, leading into Friday, waking up, and I had a change in energy. And I just felt off, right? So calling off work, completely changing my intention for the day. But overall, my actual symptoms it really mimicked a sinus infection, and my nose felt so stuffy that I was actually breathing through my mouth. So a sinus infection, and then 2 days later, after the positive test on Friday, Sunday, it hit me. It was like seasonal allergies. Nose was itching, eyes were watering. Oh my gosh, like my nose was like raw, red, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I just need some humidity here so I can keep my nostrils moist, yet alone breathing through my mouth, which creates the mouth to be dry. So luckily, my best friend is a nurse, and she's like, you need to take Sudafed. So I was like, on it. Sudafed and Tylenol. Cool. So those were my pretty much major symptoms. It just felt like a full-blown like sinus and like seasonal allergy infection, like in my nose, in my face. And my ears did feel a little bit stuffy too. And then again, my glands under my jaw were swollen. So, looking back at the metrics, like going into my Whoop band data, again, not sponsored, should be as a healthcare provider. Literally, I only spent 2 days in this quote unquote yellow recovery percentage route, and every day, like, it went up by like 5%, 10%, and then I was already in the green by day 3 and onward. So my body recovered very quickly, right? And that's what you should see in general. I'm healthy, I'm young, I don't have any comorbidities, I don't take any medicine, and my body is fine-tuned to discovering and promoting an immune response, right? So I can fight off infection, fight off bacteria infection, fight off virus infections very quickly. So, yeah, right now I'm feeling good. I think the only lingering effects was like the nasal congestion. And that definitely got better after taking Sudafed, recommended by my best friend who's a nurse. That going into that night, I took that on a Sunday, going into that Monday morning, like, I remember breathing through my nose that sleep, and it was amazing. So, I'm not recommending people to take Sudafed, but since my best friend is a nurse, she recommended that for me. So I listened to her. But yeah, so yes, that is the overall insight to my COVID experience. When in doubt, if you're feeling like poo-poo, just take a COVID test just to be mind's sake and do your due diligence and then move on with life. Do what you need to do. But it was kind of cool, wearing the Whoop band throughout this process and seeing my metrics have that dip and then a quick recovery, a quick decline in the immune response that my body provided, and then a quick incline in getting back to my baselines. So yeah, pay attention to your body. And, I'm a data person, so wearing the Whoop band was just pretty neat to see. And yeah. So if you do have a Whoop band, I want to let you know that Fortress PT, I have a team. So some of my other physio friends are a part of my Fortress team. And I do have a couple patients that are on there too, and I can track them from afar. So that's kind of cool. And that's another way that I keep accountability for my patients, as well as my friends and other physio providers that I stay connected with. If you want to join the team, definitely join in. I will put the invite code in the comments. And yeah, so just kind of giving you some insight, and we will see. That's a wrap for today's episode, Function with Purpose podcast. For more information on this episode, please check out the show notes within your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, or drop your comments and questions below. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thanks for the listen. Pursuit, precision, purpose.